Hi guys, welcome to Classic Rock and Country Music Facts and Trivia. Thank you so much for being here. Today's video is on Tom Petty and how he pulled a knife in a record label meeting. Take a look. Every musician's worst enemy in music tends to be the business itself. As such, as artists might like to make music for everyone who will hear them, it usually takes a bunch of red tape to break through to their fans, from contractual obligations to being flown around the world to play one obscure show after another. While Tom Petty had always dealt with his fair share of problems with his record label, things began to change when he brought weapons into the business meetings. Before Petty had even signed to a label with the Heartbreakers, he had already been jerked around more than his peers. After becoming one of the leading figures of the Heartland rock movement in his native Gainesville, Petty's first band, Mudcrutch, would get a record deal only for the band to drop them after a handful of singles flopped. Liking the way Petty wrote songs, the label preferred keeping him on as a solo star. Rather than cower to what the higher-ups wanted, Petty decided to get a completely different band behind him, bringing back Mike Campbell and Benmont Tench from the Mudcrutch, and rounding out the lineup with Ron Blair on bass and Stan Lynch on drums. While the band's debut would find its first success in Europe, it would be the release of their third album, Damn the Torpedoes, that everything depended upon. After gaining momentum, Petty thought that he was on the verge of greatest work, only to be slapped with a loophole in his contract which claimed that his label owned the copyrights of his songs. Declaring bankruptcy to fight the case, Petty would do everything he could to keep his new songs out of the reach of his record label, going so far as to hide the tapes when they weren't working in the studio. When Petty finally arrived at the various meetings, he let them know he wasn't messing around from the very beginning. As Petty's manager, Tony Demetriades, recalled in Running Down a Dream, he made them believe that he didn't give a shit. And he didn't tell me he was doing this, but he had a pen knife, and he took it out during the meeting and just started cleaning his nails. He just told me that he wanted something to do. The label probably thought this is just some punk kid. Even though Petty would have been putting up a front for the suits, he claimed that he was never going to back down to anyone, explaining, "One guy told me, 'Look, kid, you're going to make your records, and you're going to shut up.' I looked at him and I said, 'I'll sell you peanuts before I give you any of my songs.'" Although the settlement seemed like David versus Goliath style battle, Petty came out on top, getting the right to play his music and earn back his royalties on his own label, Backstreet Records. Then again, that didn't stop him from wanting to move over to new pastures later, finally liberating himself from MCA Records to move over to Warner Brothers. While many artists can only dream of having the royalties back in their hands, Petty was never going to cower to any of the industry types. This was about creative life or death, and Petty would have rather gone down swinging than see his song stolen from under his nose. Totally understand this. I wrote some music. It's not great, but I've had one taken from me years and years ago, and it was not a good song. It didn't do anything, but it was mine. I created that. It's not yours to have. I created that. I got a friend who actually, for my Andy Griffith show, Facts and Trivia, and my Beverly Hillbillies Facts and Trivia, wrote the themes and recorded all the music and everything for those channels. And he's written bunches and bunches of really good stuff. And I'll tell you, I don't think anything would break his heart more if somebody stole his music. It's a musician's, it's a songwriter's baby, if you will. Anyway, I understand. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please don't forget about classic TV facts and trivia. Head on over there, check it out. Please subscribe. You guys have a great day. God bless. Praying for you.